Welcome to Geek View Tavern. Get yourself a refill on that signature cocktail. You'll be glad you did. In this episode, we deal with the fallout from selecting the top 10 covers of the greatest superhero universe of the 1990s, the Ultraverse. I'm your host and bartender, Dave Olbrich. Which cover should have made the list? Which didn't? What's the deal with the Ultraverse cartoon? And stay tuned until the end for a surprise appearance by a very special guest. Welcome to part 3. You can find the previous episodes, number 17 and 18, right here on YouTube. Remember to like the episode, leave a comment below, share it with friends, and please subscribe. Okay, Skeeter, hit the intro. Previously on Geek View Tavern.
Why don't we explain what we're going to do?
Okay, we're going to do a countdown from 10 to 1 of the top Ultraverse covers. Mark and Jeff from the Ultramonthly Podcast submitted their list, and then I called it down to 10.
We were really excited about the idea of having a holistic universe that actually changed over time.
Now, why was there a difference in like the paper quality between the newsstands and the direct retail?
I mean, nowadays everything is so corporate and weird.
That comes back to our love of killing people.
Here's the great thing. I have no memory of it.
Okay, well, maybe Mark's got a memory with that.
Oh, but I'm a man. Why am I in the storm?
We would tend to say yes to more things than we'd say no to. There wasn't a lot of, oversight.
So, are you ready for the fallout? Which covers made the list? Here's our list of the top 10 covers of the Ultraverse, the best shared comic book world of the 1990s. At number 10, Ultra Force number 5 with art by George Perez from February 1995. At number 9, Freaks number 5 with art by Ben Herrera from November 1993. Number 8, The Solution number 17 with art by John Stadema and Dennis Jensen from February 1995. Number 7, Sludge 11 by Aaron Lopresti and Gary Martin. November 1994. Number 6, Strangers number 17 by Rick Hoberg from October 1994. Number 5, 2 covers, both on Prime number 4 by Norm Breyfogle, September 1993. Number 4, Mantra number 18 by Jason Armstrong and Jason Martin, published February 1995. Number 3, Strangers number 4 by Rick Hoberg and Jerome K. Moore from September 1993. Number 2, Prime Annual by Boris Vallejo from October 1994. If you've watched episode 18 of Geek View Tavern, you already know the selection at number 1, but I'm not going to reveal it now. I'm going to reveal that later. Welcome to Geek View Tavern. In this episode, Tom and Dave and Chris and our special guest, Marc Truex, are going to be talking about the top 10 covers from the Ultraverse. So Tommy, you said that you had a cover that you thought that should have made the list that didn't. Your favorite didn't make the list.
Volunteer number 1.
Oh yeah. All right. Fair enough. That's a good choice.
I also selfishly think Prototype number 2, which is the solo figure of Prototype, where he's in the middle of a firefight. It's Ammerman and Pasco, and I think it's really at not necessarily the peak of their powers, but at the best of their powers. So,
do we get to be selfish? Can I be selfish?
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
I would have liked to see Room number 1.
There. By BWS.
Little guy, yeah, Barry Windsor-Smith. Maybe we've heard of him. Yeah.
Okay. I think he'll be something someday.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely pop those in, but I think that's a really good list, Mark. Thank you and Jeff for helping us winnow it down, because it's a
big list.
that was a big list and a lot of work, and it's really fun to know that you guys are still fans of the stuff and still want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And the podcast is just amazing listening to you go over the storylines and your loves of the various characters and all that. So thanks for helping keep the fandom alive.
So did any of this ruin that love for you?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not. It's
I've ruined it for you.
just gotten stinkier and stinkier. It's like a fine cheese. Yeah.
I love those comics till I met Tom and Chris and Dave online, and all of a sudden,
Oh man,
man, now I'm a Valiant guy.
comics greatest world for me.
That's
That's right.
Just the entire Ultraverse is so incredible, and the characters and stories that were released out of it. It's kind of storytelling you don't get a whole lot nowadays. And I find when I read Ultraverse books now, it might take me some time. I'm poring over each page. It might take 20, 30 minutes an issue as I'm really diving into what's going on. I read some modern books now, and I'm through them in like 7-10 minutes. It's
Sure.
crazy how much.
Yeah. And now what used to be one comic book is now 4 for some reason, plot-wise.
one of the things that we had, and to Chris's credit, we brought in guys who had writer experience from the 70s when comic books were denser, and so this was the way, fortunately, that they told a story where they try to pack as much in as possible. They were also trying to coordinate with each other. We had encouraged all the writers to talk to each other, to help each other out, to co-plot stuff together if you're using characters that were created by somebody else. When Prototype appeared in that issue of Prime, I know that we got the dialogue that was going to be in that issue, and even though Len co-wrote it, I still got to look at it and make sure that, I could be the guy that said, Prototype doesn't sound that way, but
Right.
and so everybody who was a part of the universe got to have those participatory moments, which helped make it denser, which helped make it more connected, which helped make it... The idea was that you could read an issue of the Ultraverse and you wouldn't have to go out and get an issue of another title, but we wanted you to want to.
Right. If you did, you'd get more depth from the story that you read before, because it would add on pieces to the puzzle.
Yes.
And I credit Chris for being the ringmaster and all that stuff. I mean, that was a giant job to keep all those creators and all those books pointed in the right direction, keep the editors pointed in the right direction. That was a tough gig, Chris.
And I think
good job.
And I think from this phone call, we can all tell it certainly wasn't me.
Untrue. I would just say one thing, which is that it was a great experience. They were all super fun to work with, and it just was fun stuff.
Yeah,
I was thinking about
terrific.
that with the Demi Moore cover. We would just do stuff, and we would take a chance on doing it versus not doing it. And to me, that was great. So it really was just a love affair.
And you also get into a position where, look, we got to put out 12 covers a month.
Yeah.
Why do they all have to be superheroes running at the camera? Why do they all have to be a pinup shot or a poster shot? Why can't we do something that's weird and funny and, just goofy?
Let's have fun, right?
Yeah.
It's comic books.
Comics should be fun.
Yeah, that's right. I'm admiring Mark's Jump On Now poster that's visible right there in the screen.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, you've got the giant monkey on a motorcycle.
I got a monkey on the motorcycle there, and I've got the original Dave Dorman painting there.
Now, well, it's not the original art.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
I hate you more now.
Yeah, Dave Dorman said, I called him up and I said, whatever happened to the original? He goes, you guys paid for the original. I got paid years ago. I just been waiting for somebody to tell me where to ship it.
Wow.
And I said, well, you can ship it to me. He goes, I'll ship it to you with one condition. I said, okay, what's the condition? He goes, I don't ever see it on eBay. Done.
Easy condition.
Yeah. I'll buy it from you right now.
Yeah.
It's not eBay.
That's right. It's Tombay.
Do you have a schedule, Mark, for the Ultramonthly podcast?
Yeah. We do try to fit it in monthly. That's
Right.
very
Yeah.
rigorous
Ultramonthly.
schedule. But, just like the Ultraverse, you got one issue a month. Last Wednesday of every month, we put out the new episode. Yeah, just try to...
Everybody can find it wherever they find podcasts. Just type in
Exactly.
Ultra Monthly Podcast, and there it will
Ultramonthly
be.
Podcast, you can find it. And the great thing about the show is it's timeless. So last episode we did, episode 39, was the Lord Pumpkin's Halloween Special 2. And so we focused in on the Lord Pumpkin and the Rune episodes in the Ultraforce cartoon.
Do you know off the top of your head where people can find the Ultraverse cartoon? I think you can find it on YouTube, but I think somebody else has got it as well.
I think Tubi has it
right? Yeah, I
streamed
think you're right. It's on
And
streaming on Tubi. Yeah,
Amazon, I believe you can buy by the episode.
right. Yeah.
Oh, somebody owes me a check then. Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck getting that 25-cent check, Tom.
I was gonna say I know the Ultraverse has such a huge fan community and a very active Facebook group out there, and something
Yeah,
that
the
came
Facebook
up recently
group's really fun. Yeah.
was talking about the Ultraforce cartoon. And Tom, you had chimed in about it.
Yes.
That the licensing rights on the cartoon are not owned by Marvel Disney.
Yes.
It's owned by, what is it, Deke Entertainment or
But,
whoever.
so here, I can run through it again. So what happens is when you make a cartoon like that, you have a lot of partners that all put money in. So Galoob put money in because it was a promotion for the toys, and so it's basically their ad budget. And then Bobot puts money in because they're going to distribute the cartoon in syndicated form to various stations. And then the animation studio does a little bit, and then a producer will do a little bit more, and eventually you get enough money to make each episode. And then the ownership of those episodes, not the characters themselves, not the comic books themselves, but just the produced episode, is co-owned by that group, that consortium that put in the money. And then at some point, you assume that because Galoob Toys doesn't exist anymore, and because Bobot doesn't exist anymore, that those rights were transferred to whoever bought them or took over for them. And that's why they show up on Tubi, because the company that has the rights has placed them on Tubi. Whoever has those broadcast rights can air the show however they want, but they can't make new episodes, and they can't license out the characters, and they can't do a spin-off show. So that's where we stand.
They could do like repolished re-releases for like DVD, Blu-ray,
Yes.
as opposed to like the bootleg copies that are out there at convention circuits, and so forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's the same deal with the Nightman TV show. The Nightman TV show is owned by Glenn A. Larson Productions, and that's why you see the Nightman came out in a DVD box set or whatever,
Mhm.
and why Nightman would show up on some obscure, streaming service.
Very cool.
So now that we've been through the list, Chris, what's your overall summary of what are your thoughts coming out of that top 10 list?
My thought, I think it's a great top 10 list, with the exception that I think Rune should have been on there somewhere, but that's just me. No, it's a good list, and it also brought me back. It was nice to see, sort of just in retrospect, how good the stuff we did was. It's awesome.
Speaking of Rune, one of my favorite Rune covers is Rune Zero, and how that came together, where it was a backup issue in 9 different titles, each with like a puzzle piece, and then ultimately it all got collected into the one issue of Rune Zero. That was really cool.
So Chris, you came up with that, didn't you?
I don't remember.
But it's one of those stupid ideas that's hard to pitch, where it's like, hey, let's do a cover where if you get all 9 of them, you can piece it together like a jigsaw puzzle. And you all sort of laugh about it and go, ha ha ha, no, what a dumb idea. And then the more you think about it, the more you think,
Wait a minute.
Hold on, just
Hold
a
on,
second,
yeah,
Bubba Louie.
Right, it's sort of the dumb idea suddenly takes shape, and then suddenly the dumb idea becomes a brilliant idea. You just piece it together, and then all of a sudden, when you see all 9 together, and you realize that it can work as a trading card and as a poster and as a comic book, it just sort of grows.
And we want to give motivated readers who wanted to read it early a chance by just buying all the books.
And we do it again in a heartbeat.
Yes, we would.
You got any thoughts on the list there, Mr. Tom?
Well, aside from the fact that we hurt Chris's feelings, I think,
When doesn't that happen?
and I blame Mark for that, because he's the new
guilty.
guy, and it's just like, you should have known better.
It's all but fair. Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
I think what struck me is how much I really liked the rectangle on the covers. I think the coloring is still impressive. I think the people who did the coloring are really, really talented and solid people. And without them, they're an integral part of the books.
Yep.
And part of it is, I just get sad because I look at that stuff and I realize that was a really good time. Like it was frustrating, it was crazy, it was loopy, it was nuts, and it had moments where you just want to strangle people. But hey, there was
Hey, Tom, right here, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I've still got the marks on my neck, actually.
Look, I can only apologize so many times. What strikes me is that it was a really fun time, and I have never been able to sort of recreate that. But that sense of, oh, here's a dumb idea. I bet I can have this out in print in like 4 months.
It's not like we were trying to pick their pocket. We were trying to create something that was going to be really fun, and the readers came along with us.
Well, that was the thing. We tried really hard not to make it difficult for retailers and for fans. We always thought through, how is a fan going to react when he has to buy 2 things? How is the retailer going to act when he has to buy all these incentives? And we always tried to figure out a way to sort of twist that around so that people could still have a good experience and not feel cheated.
So how badly did I butcher your top 20 there, Mark? Was there anything that I left out that you really would have liked to have seen?
Let me see. I mean, that was pretty solid. Yeah, Jeff and I each pulled together our top 10s, and then one for me. I got 2 actually. Okay. Firearm 12 is the prologue for Rafferty, and the scene is a board of different photos and clues and a dagger. There. It just looks something so pulpy and noir for setting up this crime series. I like that setup, that stage. Like you said, so many covers are the heroes just running into danger or amongst a fight, but this is the preamble. Fun how that kicked off the entire Rafferty saga. And Hard Case 13, The Truth About Choice, just the way all the content is put together on that page, it screams like a movie poster.
Yeah, it is. It's very movie. It's very movie postery for sure. Yeah. It's like a Miami Vice kind of movie poster vibe. Yeah, it's cool. The one I missed was Freaks #1. I love that Simonson cover.
Oh yeah.
That
was a great
X, right?
3X, right? It's
and then of course Walter Simonson built a cover so that we ended up covering up the X, which is just ridiculous. The whole point of Freaks was making sure that the X showed up on the cover so we could compete with X-Men. And the very first issue, you can't even see the X because of the character and the energy blast. It's hysterical.
I am curious.
Cover.
When was that?
And it's still a great cover.
Yeah.
When was it covering up notice? After it went to print or before? And then
before.
deciding.
Oh no, we
knew we were doing it.
Yeah, we stood there and cursed at it.
we had the ability, because we did all the coloring in the office, we did all the graphic design, so we ran proofs of it before it went to the printer. So we saw everything before it left the office.
But we just stood there and shook our heads, like, yeah, that's what we have to do. But what are you gonna? Yeah.
Because I remember we had like a 30-minute meeting of, all right, guys, give me some ideas. How can we fix this? And the conclusion was like, no, it's Simonson. We're going to run with it as it is.
Yep.
We're not going to cover up Simonson artwork.
Yeah, I still think it was the right decision, but
I do too.
We made some compromises for sure, but I still love the cover. I think it's great. Welcome, Aaron LaPresti. You got the #1 cover of the Ultraverse, Lord Pumpkin Zero. Congratulations.
Dave, I don't know what to say.
Can you believe it? How cool is that?
I can't. I mean, I'll tell you the truth. I would have expected out of the top 10, maybe I would have got, I don't know, 4 or 5 covers, but I never would have dreamed that I would get #1. So I'm I'm speechless. It's just what an honor, because obviously there was a lot of great artists that worked at Malibu during the Ultraverse days, and to get one of my covers to be picked out as the #1 all-time Ultraverse cover, in all seriousness, it's quite an honor, and I really appreciate it, and I'm humbled and grateful.
Yeah, you and Rick Hoberg both got 2 on the list, but you got #1. So
I will say this: I was so excited to work on Lord Pumpkin Zero, just because I loved the character. He had become super popular super quick, And it was one of those things where I really felt like I was going to do some really cool stuff. I loved the story that, you know, Dan Danko would come up with for it. So my memory is of it. I was just pouring my heart and soul into it. Probably was my favorite project out of everything I did for you guys. So
It's very cool. And Tommy had some nice things to say about the character in the book as well.
The interesting thing about that was I remember you guys back in the old days before email, we'd send out a fax to everybody, and you sent one to me that had all these character names on it, right? And you said, you got to use these names so that we can, you know, copyright or trademark them.
Yep.
I said, hey, look at this Lord Pumpkin, or Pumpkinhead, I believe was the name originally on the list, but then it had to be changed because of the Stan Winston movie.
The movie, yeah. We wanted the full clear trademark in case we wanted the Lord Pumpkin movie, right?
Right. So I remember saying, this could be really cool. And I remember I did a design not knowing that you guys had already had a design for it. And I said, let's do this character, you know, and Gerber was like, okay. And so I remember sending you guys a copy of the drawing I did and one to Gerber, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. And so that was kind of how it came to fruition. And the whole image on that cover with the dead clowns and the dead circus performance, you know, I think that was mostly my idea. I'm just trying to remember. I don't remember how much of it Dan and I discussed. I remember that we had done, if you remember correctly, we had done an origin story of Lord Pumpkin for Hero Magazine. It was an exclusive 5-page thing. And it never got
you and Dan did that together?
Right. That was my pencils, and we scanned my pencils, and Albert Calleros colored it, and it looked fantastic. And then Hero Magazine, it printed it, and it was printed like so dark you couldn't hardly read it.
Right.
And I was so pissed because it was a really nice story. We ended up getting used again in the Ultraverse premiere or whatever book.
Right.
And,
sure. Yeah.
And then it got printed correctly, and it actually looked much better. But so we were coming off this sort of idea that, you know, Lord Pumpkin could be a standalone character. I think how well that turned out and how well it was received, that kind of spun off into doing the Zero issue. And I didn't have it. I'm pretty sure I had no story input into it. I think Dan told me maybe what he was going to do, and then he put the script together. But in terms of the cover, I want to say that was me. Kind of got this idea, you know, he was the ringmaster, have all these dead clowns, because everybody, you know, hates clowns anyway, right?
Yeah.
And
you know what was number 2 on the list?
It wasn't me, so I don't know.
Boris Vallejo's cover for the Prime Annual.
No kidding. So I beat out Boris.
You're one slot ahead of Boris Vallejo's Prime cover. Yeah.
Wow, and that was a terrific cover too. I remember that you guys got Boris. That was such like a big thing. Oh, we got Boris to do the cover to Prime, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. There you go. So what's your favorite memory from working on the Ultraverse?
Well, I don't want to sound, you know, cheesy or anything, but you guys. Honestly, and I've told you this before, I have never had so much fun working in comics as I did when I was working with you guys on the Ultraverse stuff.
Yeah.
It was just, we were all a lot younger.
Boy, were we.
And we all had big dreams, you know, where we were going and what the company was going to do and all these kind of things. And we were creating new characters and new mythology. And there was a lot of talent there at that time. And, you know, you guys were the first ones that sort of just kind of took the reins off me and let me go and just said, hey, do what you do, man. And I was able to take that step where, you know, I think the stuff I did at Marvel before I came to Ultraverse was really poor. And I wouldn't even consider it professional quality, but I was able to take the leap to being crappy artist to professional level artist at Ultraverse because you guys let me do it. You know,
sure.
it was a positive environment with a lot of encouragement.
Meddling with creators really was never our thing. So we tried to figure out a way to publishing philosophy wrapped around letting guys do their thing to the best of their ability.
And it was just what I needed at the exact time that I needed it in my career. So I am always grateful to you guys for giving me that opportunity. And it was just so much fun.
Yeah, I agree. It was a lot of fun. Well, thanks for coming. Cheers to you, my friend. Where's the camera? There it is. Cheers to you, my friend. Congratulations on the number 1 spot. All right, boys. Thank you so much for coming to Geek Tavern today and having this talk. And so give us a wave, and we will see you all next time.
All right. Bye, everyone. Great meeting you, Mike.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for visiting Geek View Tavern. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and click the bell to get notified. Come back soon.